Alright guys, it's Chatterbox Reviews, coming to you guys with my monthly TV recap for the month of February. Alright, so we are back for our monthly TV recap for the month of February, and I know this one is the shortest month of the year, but this one went by especially fast, for me at least, and especially for TV, because I know last video, right, in January, I said, next month in February, like, hopefully we get back into the swing of things here, and, you know, hopefully there's some new shows, and hopefully I'll be able to get, back to some of them, check some new ones out. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case this month. I only watched 3 episodes of new TV. By new TV, I just mean that, TV episodes that actually premiered this month. And so I was only able to see 3, and it was like 4 last month, something like that. So there just isn't a lot of stuff coming out right now, unfortunately. And the stuff that is coming out, either I'm not really interested in, or I just haven't really got around to it yet. And so that's kind of the reality, unfortunately, for this one. But, I do want to keep doing these because I want to have one for every month. And then when we do get kind of into things, then I can kind of look back and see what I checked out during the year. And obviously really helpful for when you get to the end of the year and you're making, lists and rankings and trying to look back on the year, just in general, seeing, what you really enjoyed and what you didn't like as well, right? And so trying to remember that stuff in December from January and February is difficult. So this makes it really kind of a lot easier to do that, and a lot of fun too, to kind of discuss these episodes, even though sometimes I won't necessarily do a review for them, but at least now I can talk about them somewhere, right? So anyways, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this month of TV, and please let me know if I missed out on anything big. I know WandaVision has been massive lately. I'm just not much of a Marvel guy, or at least the recent Marvel stuff. That's just me. I'm not saying that the show is bad by any means, but I just am not really interested in that, and so I don't think I will be watching that. But other than that one, which I've seen is massive right now, what have you guys been watching? And would you suggest anything? That would be really great to hear. And then also, what are you guys looking forward to in March? I do have a few shows that I'm kind of anticipating, so I do think we'll cover that at the end of the video here, and I'll kind of touch on those, and what I'm kind of looking forward to, and what I'm planning on watching. But yeah, love to hear your guys' thoughts on February, and then also what you're looking forward to in March for sure. So also, if you enjoyed this video, please like and consider subscribing to the channel. Would really appreciate that as well. But without any further ado though, let's get into some of the TV shows I watched. So there's 4 total that I watched this month, from different shows, varying episodes, of course, right? So I think the total episodes is 35, somewhere around there. I'm not sure if that's the exact number, but anyway, so first off, we had the Kominsky Method Season 2. So in the last video in January, we kind of left off when I was just finishing the premiere of Season 2, right? And I was very positive about it, very excited for the second season. I said, it looks even better than the first season, and I think I was right with that assessment. So I finished Season 2 now. I've watched the 7 episodes that were left. I thought it was pretty good. I really did. I really like the show and the style. I just think it's so unique and something that you really don't see much on Netflix. It is very surprising to me that they were even able to make this. Of course, Chuck Lorre behind it and some big names, of course. But it is a bit of a different show for a lot of people on Netflix, and I'm just really happy that they were able to make this and that they were even able to do a Season 2. I think it is maybe better than Season 1. I really do. I love the Martin character, so good. And you have Alan Arkin's new kind of girlfriend, right? Or I guess he was girlfriend when they were teenagers or in their 20s, something like that, and she kind of comes back into the picture, and they are together for part of the season as kind of a couple, and I just really like some of the stuff in Season 2. It's a little bit bigger, right? A little bit, more well, I guess there's more characters, right? Because you have Martin, you have, Alan Arkin's, Alan Arkin's girlfriend. I don't know if that's the right term, right? But anyway, so yeah, so you have those more, the more of those characters in that kind of main cast, but you also have a lot more bigger concepts, I would say. And you have, the whole prostate thing, with Michael Douglas's character. And so, yeah, I just feel like it is a little bit bigger, and I'm not saying it's necessarily better just because it's bigger, but I think a lot of the comedy really lands. Some of these episodes are really great. I think episode 3 was my favorite, and just some really wholesome stuff too, especially with Alan Arkin's character and his daughter, Phoebe. Those scenes are just really, really great. And of course she's coming out of rehab, and that is kind of played for comedy, but there's also some drama in there and some emotional stuff. So yeah, just a really great show. I really do enjoy it, and unfortunately, I've heard that season 3 is coming, like I said in last video, I think, but Alan Arkin's not going to be in it, which is really, really unfortunate. So I'm not sure. I might check it out just to kind of see what it's like without Alan Arkin in it. But yeah, it is very unfortunate. I'm just not sure if the show can really work that well without those two, Michael Douglas and Alan Arkin kind of playing off each other. So we'll have to see what that looks like, but for season 2, I thought it was really quite good. There was a little bit of repetition towards the end of the season, where I think they could have, come up with a few new things. But I am happy as well that they are ending it with season 3, because I just don't know where the rest of the series would go. I mean, really, you could have like 20 seasons with these guys. Of course, not going to happen. But you could have 20 or 10 seasons with these guys who just, being, in their lives and following them. But it would get a little bit, repetitive, I think. So it is great to see that they are ending it with season 3, but not so great that Alan Arkin's not going to be in it. So we'll have to see, what happens with that one. But I definitely think I'll check it out just to kind of see, just to kind of gauge what that's like. And I hear that it is going to come in 2021, I believe. So I am definitely looking forward to that, hopefully later this year. So anyways, and I know I'm obviously behind on that. I mean, that came out, 2019 now, right? So a little bit behind, but I did catch up on that, and I'm now caught up with the series. So, all right. So next is Your Honor, which is the last 2 episodes of the season. Of course, I already shared my thoughts in my review, which I believe is like 40 minutes, so not going to go too far in depth here on this. But yeah, a disappointing finale, obviously. I think episode 9 was alright. It wasn't, it wasn't great, or it wasn't even good, really, but I thought it was okay, but the finale was obviously disappointing. They just had way too many subplots and all this kind of stuff interwoven into this really convoluted story, and then they tried to wrap it up in about 5 minutes at the end of the episode, in this finale. And so it really kind of was a train wreck here, the season of Your Honor. Again, I think the first 2 episodes worked really well, kind of brought the whole thing full circle at the end of the second episode, and some really powerful scenes in there. The cinematography, absolutely fantastic throughout the whole series, but especially in those 2 episodes. And it is unfortunate because Bryan Cranston was the director of the finale episode, and yeah, it just really wasn't that great, and especially in the direction department, it just wasn't that great. So I do think they do, I think they don't deserve all the blame, because there was obviously the delays in production, and all that stuff that went on. I think they had to break for 7 or 7.5 months in between episodes 7 and 8, I believe. And so that really complicates things. And of course there was like editing errors and just, a bunch of stuff with the production that was kind of screwed up with this. So I don't blame Bryan Cranston and Peter Moffat, the writer, completely. But yeah, obviously a disappointing finale. I wasn't really, too worked up about it, because I kind of expected it to be bad. Some people I saw were like really worked up about it, and kind of going crazy over it. But I knew it'd be disappointing. It kind of made sense with the whole rest of the show and the direction it was going. And so that's kind of what we got, unfortunately. I mean, that doesn't make it any better, but at least I wasn't, kind of as disappointed as some other people with that one. But yeah, definitely not very good. And it's unfortunate because, Bryan Cranston gave an amazing performance in this. I think it's obviously a return to form, probably his best since Breaking Bad, at least on TV. So, yeah, it is just unfortunate to see him in this, and I really wish that he would have been in something with a little bit better writing, right? Though his character is probably the best written, for sure, on the show, and a lot of it is kind of based in that Walter White character, and I think a lot of Bryan Cranston's performance is actually very similar to some of the stuff he did with Walter White on Breaking Bad. So, yeah, I mean, I think it is almost worth it just to see Bryan Cranston in the show if you're a really big fan of him and you're a big fan of Breaking Bad. But, yeah, after episode 2, in my opinion, I think it goes downhill very rapidly. And at the end, it kind of brings itself back. Episode 7 is not too bad. But then the rest of it, 8, 9, 10, not very good and fairly disappointing. So anyways, those are my thoughts on Your Honor. Very unfortunate that one isn't better. But yeah, it is what it is. And Carmen Yogo also is pretty good in this one. I don't know. They're writing for her character very bad in the last couple episodes. So I feel bad for her. And who else is in this one? Michael Stahlberg. He is great as well in his performance. And then also Isaiah Whitlock Jr. is fantastic. So, yeah, some really great performances here. And you can't help but feel bad for them that the writing is not quite there. All right. So next, I do want to talk a little bit more in depth about this one, because I did just check this one out a couple days ago, and this is Resident Alien Season 1. So I actually just watched the pilot, and I am planning on checking out Episode 2 probably tonight or in the next few days, and getting caught up with the season, because I think I will do a review for the first season of this one. This pilot, now, I have to kind of preface this, because this is something that I heard about. I think this premiered right at the beginning of February, actually. So I am a little late to the party, obviously. But this is something I heard about at the time, and I saw Alan Tudyk in it. I think that's how you say it, Alan Tudyk, yeah. And he's the star of this one. Not really any other big names in it. It's pretty much just him and this kind of concept of this, alien that lands on Earth, and he becomes the town's doctor, and it's a comedy, drama, mystery. Like, it's all, and sci-fi, of course, a little bit of horror in there. So it's all these kind of genres mixed into one. And I have to say, going into it, I thought it would more be like a medical drama with a little bit of comedy, and, this alien is now a doctor, and it's kind of like a Grey's Anatomy situation. But boy, was I wrong. I was pleasantly surprised by this pilot. Now, I didn't, love it. I don't think it's incredible or anything like that. There are, quite a few cliche things in it. It's not, completely new, but I don't know, like, I guess my expectations were pretty low for it, and it definitely surpassed the expectations, so I think it is something that I do want to check out the rest of the season, and at least after the pilot, just kind of see where they go with this. At least if it's just, the next couple episodes, I can kind of get a better feel for where they're going with it. But there's so many directions that they can take the show in because of the multitude of genres being played through here, right? And obviously, Alan Tudyk is amazing. Without him, the show does not work, obviously, and he's fantastic. But yeah, I would say though, after watching the pilot, I think this show is an hour long, so it's about 45 minutes with commercials on Syfy. This is one of the first sci-fi shows I've ever watched, actually, which it's pretty interesting experience. I actually don't mind Syfy. So, but yeah, it's an hour show, and I just think it'd be so much better if we cap it at half an hour episodes, and they go a little bit more into the comedy aspect. I think the drama here was a little bit too much, and it didn't really help the rest of the comedy in the episode, especially in the pilot here. We get, obviously no spoilers, but we get a scene where it gets pretty dramatic and actually like pretty emotional. Not that emotional, but a pretty serious scene. And the comedy after that scene then kind of feels a little bit forced. And so I think just figuring out those tones is something they could definitely improve on. And if they do, this is a really niche show, but it could be something that people really love. And I've seen some reactions of the season, as it's going so far, and there's like kind of just a small group of people who are like in love with the show. So that is awesome. And I'm definitely, looking forward to checking out the rest of it. So hopefully I think the season will actually be done by the time I do my video for March next month. So hopefully I'll be able to, talk about the entire season, and I'll definitely be doing a review for it on the channel. As long as it doesn't, really go bad, I'll be doing a review. So yeah, looking forward to that one. And if you are checking that one out, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on it, especially if you've watched more episodes. Love to hear what you guys think of it so far. And are you in that group, right, of these few people that really love it? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's not really any other big names besides Alan Tudyk, because Syfy is obviously not a channel that has a lot of budget. And I have to say, the effects in this episode, in this pilot, were impressive. Like, for a comedy sci-fi series, like, they really didn't hold back with the effects. I have to give it that. It looked really good, really believable. And so I believe that budget was not that big after you do these effects and all the other stuff. So they don't have a lot of big names, but if Alan Tudyk interests you and the concept interests you, I think you should give it a chance. And definitely check it out. So we'll see where that one goes. Definitely hopeful. All right, so lastly then is The Sopranos. So this is one I'm not going to go too far into because, this premiered 22 years ago, right? Now for this year, right? Yeah, 22 years ago in 1999. Crazy stuff. But I have been kind of looking back at Sopranos. I'm trying to watch all these kind of big shows that everybody talks about, as being the best, TV shows of all time, that type of, that type of label. And so I've really been looking, at Sopranos, really catching up on that one. I watched Game of Thrones as well last year, so just kind of, exploring some of these older shows. I know Game of Thrones is a little bit more recent, right? But some of these older shows, and so I believe I started watching The Sopranos in 2019, and I've just been kind of slowly going through it. And this past month I've been really into it. And so I started, I think, on season 4 this month, and I'm now in season 6. So I've watched, I think, 25 episodes of Sopranos this month, and that's pretty much what I've been doing. Like I said, there hasn't been a lot of new shows now, and so that's kind of what I've been forced to do, is kind of look back at some of these older ones. And kind of catch up. So yeah, Sopranos, I'm not, completely ready. I haven't really made a list or considered it yet, but I would say at least top 5 shows for me of all time, and I'm not quite done it yet. But it is fantastic. I mean, it's so good. And also just the way that it kind of blazed this trail for everything that we see now. Breaking Bad would not exist if it were not for Sopranos. You can name like any show, really. Walking Dead, Mad Men, all of these shows wouldn't really exist if it weren't for The Sopranos and what it kind of did for TV at the time. Maybe I guess by now you might have some shows like this, but you would not have the amount of, popularity, and those shows just would not work as well as they did. That's just the facts. So Sopranos, again, very good show itself, in its own merits, but also the impact it has had on scripted TV and the kind of hour-long drama every week is just monumental. So anyways, it is great to look back on it, and really do love it. Really getting into it, and hopefully I'll be able to finish the show by the end of March. Maybe I'll talk about that for the next month's video. We'll get into that a little bit. But yeah, and I've tried to stay away from spoilers. I've seen a lot of the spoilers for stuff, so I do kind of get things spoiled for me, but that's my fault for getting to this one 22 years late. Of course, I'm not too mad about it. But yeah, so that has been a little bit different of an experience, and I really do wish I watched it when it was live. Of course, I would have been a little too young, I think, at that point. But yeah, what an experience that must have been to watch this show live. I know Breaking Bad, I watched season 5, I think, live, and that was an insane experience. I haven't had that with many of these kind of big shows. And yeah, that's something that I really wish I would have had. But anyways, still enjoyable nonetheless. So Anyways, that'll just about do it then for all my shows that I watched this month. That's it, unfortunately, but next month, I will for sure be looking forward to a few shows. So let's get into that just really quickly here. So, obviously, The Walking Dead, Season 10C, the 6 additional episodes. I haven't seen the new one yet. I believe that premiered last week or this last Sunday, I believe. So I haven't seen that one yet. I am going to plan, I think, on doing like a binge pretty much of just doing all 6 episodes at once when they're finished. So maybe by the end of next month's, in next month's video, I'll maybe talk about the episodes a little bit more in depth, and get to that. And it is unfortunate because I just haven't been as invested. Walking Dead is easily a top 3 show for me all time, probably number 2. I've been a huge fan. I've been watching live, I believe, since season 5, so like 5 years now going on 6. So yeah, insane. To me that it's been going on this long and that I've been invested in it that long. And I don't know, I'm kind of losing interest in it. I just don't think it is at the same level as what it used to be, unfortunately. So anyways, I am going to watch these episodes though. I do want to do that. And so maybe I'll share my thoughts on that. But that is definitely something I am looking forward to in March. Second is this new NBC network show named Debris. And so I am interested in this one just off the premise. The premise seems interesting, a little sci-fi kind of thing about, debris from this alien spacecraft. So it's kind of interesting just on the surface, but it also stars Jonathan Tucker, who I really like. He was in City on a Hill, season 1. Really liked him in that. So I think, he's not an incredible actor, but I think he was really good in his role in that show, and he looks really good in all the trailers and stuff for this one. And also, the creator of this show is the writer for Fringe. He actually wrote, I believe it was like 40 episodes for Fringe. With Anna Torv. So, some big names attached to that one, and I am looking forward to it. Maybe I'll check out the pilot, kind of see what I think, kind of gauge my interest in that, and then we'll see going forward if I'm actually going to watch it. I don't have much faith in network shows anymore. I just really don't check out that many. I've been spoiled with all the, Succession and Barry and all these other kind of HBO, Netflix, all these types of really high quality drama and stuff like that. But anyways, I think I will check this one out, give it a chance, and maybe I'll share my thoughts then next month on what I thought of the pilot and if I watch any further than that. And then, of course, Resident Alien. I want to finish this first season. Hopefully, it'll be finished by the time, next month comes around. And I'll definitely review that for the channel, I think. And I'm looking forward to that. So, anyways, if you guys have any other suggestions for March, let me know. And I'm definitely always on the lookout, kind of seeing what's up next. Netflix has 3 or 4 shows every Friday coming out. So, there's always something to watch, I guess. But, yeah. So, definitely looking forward to March. And we'll see what happens there. Anyway, so that just about does it for all my thoughts for this month. So yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts are for this month of TV for sure, and what you're looking forward to in March. I'd love to discuss that with you guys, of course. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this one, and we'll see you next month for my monthly TV recap for the month of March.